Finally got some daggone warm temperatures here. It's about 71, 72. We got sunshine.
Yeah, Roger, well, sounds good. Anyway, you're 5859, not as strong. I think signals will probably pick up. I'm about in a few moments to head for the horizontal position. But the guy that you heard from was my good friend Wayne, over.
Yeah, Wayne. Yeah, nice guy. Yeah, we got to talking, and he's always, I know John. He says, I talk to him all the time. And he told me you guys talked on an app. I can't think what the app's name was, but yeah, great guy. We chatted quite a long time there, but super guy. But yeah, no, we're good. Got back trying to get a few things done around here. I actually got the power washer out. I had an appointment at the doctor this morning and checked my yearly eyes, And anyway, I got the power washer. They dilated my eyes. I got the power washer out, and I went around and did the back of the house, with the power washer today and got it done. I had the other three sides done. So I told the wife, I told Denise, I said, I ought to go get that done today. So she was kind of tagging along, and I had the dilated eyes, and I thought, oh man. I said, can you see these spots I missed? Because I'm having a tough time, over.
Yeah, Roger, so how are you now, over?
I'm okay now. The stuff they put in there and dilated them must have lasted, oh gosh, I'd say 3 or 4 hours. So, but and he said, you're right on the edge of cataracts. You've got them, but you're right on the fence line. Says, whenever you're ready, I'm not pushing you that direction, but you're almost there. And I said, okay, but yeah, no, I'm good now. They ran all kinds of tests. They ran the pressures and everything. Everything's good. So just a yearly checkup. I'm going to go back probably November and have them look at some more testing. And I don't know. I was talking to the wife when I got home. I may go ahead and get it done. I guess it's only like 10 or 15 minutes per eye. Roger.
Yeah, I've had it done. You're talking about the implants, over?
Yeah, the cataract surgery. They take the lens out and they replace it, over.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah, they do one, and then they wait a few weeks and they do another. And amazing. Of course, I wasn't driving home. My wife was driving home, and I said, "Wow, everything's so bright. I can see everything." Now that's what you will notice. And I wear sunglasses a lot out, whereas I didn't in the past. But you will really notice how bright things are, over.
The doctor told me today that the Veterans Administration, I go out there and utilize them since I'm a veteran, And he told me, he said, I'll be 71 Wednesday, and my birthday's this Wednesday. And he said, you did well. He said, you've made it a lot longer than a lot of people would have heard you have, I said, I said, it's because of my stubbornness and my hard-headedness. And I said, I just don't like the thought of somebody poking around in my eyeball.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I'm sure they know what they're doing, and it's a terrific job. It's painless, over.
Yeah, that's what he said. So, yeah, I'm probably going to break down. We were talking about it. I was going to tell you when I got home. And she says, well, get it done. And I said, I'm thinking about waiting till the winter months, and that way I'm not so active because they want you to sit for, they told me today about 5 days after you get the surgery, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, and I didn't go back to work for about 2 weeks because, where I work, it's quite a dusty environment. So he said, no, stay home and stay relaxed, over.
Oh, yeah, that's what he was saying. He says, you can't lift over whatever, and you can't, I said, well, I can't go out and mow and trim and go out on Lake Erie and go fishing and stuff. And he says, nah. And I said, well, and I told her, my wife, I said, maybe this winter, I'll get it done before we go back to Florida. But, yeah, you're 5'9 plus, John. Beautiful signal. Nice audio, Roger.
Yeah, well, you're your usual great audio. Yeah, I'm still on on the Hermes light. And here's another thing, and I'm sure he said as well or whatever. But yeah, you have to take care when you're having a shower to protect the eyes. Over.
Okay, no, he didn't go that route, but yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. So yeah, I just a routine, Rudy-tooty checkup, yearly, whatever. And I've been going out there for years and years and years, and they told me, years ago, I was probably in my 40s or 50s. They said, when you get up in your early 70s, around 70, you'll probably have to get it done. So they pretty much hit it right on the mark, Go.
Yeah, Roger. Well, you've done very well, and I'll tell you, you will really enjoy it once it's done. Over.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's like one of the guys I stopped out at the one post today there, and saw a couple buddies of mine there, the AMVETS, American Veterans Post, and he was telling me, he worked with me on the fire department. He says, "Do it." He said, when you look at something green, you'll see green. I said, really? And he says, yeah. And I said, okay. Well, sooner or later. So anything else new? Anything going on your end?
Yeah, well, to do with radio, I have a what is it, 8.3 meter a boom for a 10 meter Yagi. Long boom Yagi, 5 elements. So it's built, the mast is built, and hopefully if the weather is okay in the afternoon stroke evening, the family will help me put it on the mast and I can haul it up. Over.
Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah. So what are you going to have on that? This is W8HB. I better do that. What are you going to have on that mast?
Yeah, ON80I for ID. Yeah, that's a 10 meter 10 meter Yagi just on that mast. It's a mast that brings me up to about 15 meters above the ground. Over.
Oh, very nice. I'll be anxious to hear that. I'll be anxious to hear you when you get that up and running. Yeah, very good. Well, I'm still debating on radios. I'm definitely going to probably get something different and new to play around with. And I'm not giving this one up. Don't think I'm giving this up. I'm not. But I still am thinking seriously about looking at a couple other radios. I'm supposed to meet a guy tomorrow and take a look at an FTDX 101MP and with DX Engineering. And I did get the opportunity to go up when we were in Florida to Ham Radio Outlet and sat behind a FTDX 101D, and they had a 7760 sitting there, 7300 ICOMs. They had a couple of other Yaesus, Kenwoods, so they had them all in a nice row. You could just take your chair and move down to the next one. That was kind of nice. So, but still haven't made up my mind on which direction I'm going to go or what I'm going to go with. So, but leaning towards the 101MP, FTDX 101MP. So we'll play that by whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, the way you sound now, you always sound great. And if you're happy with your receive, probably just leave it as it is. I'm not sure. And I wonder, is there a rush now to buy new radios before all things break loose? Over.
Well, it's funny you said that because and that's another thing holding me back right now. I mean, it's pretty stable on a few of them, but I guess President Trump gave a 90-day pause on electronics today, somebody told me, but on the tariffs. But as far as the Yaesu, I noticed just right after the tariffs were announced, the Yaesu did away with their $500 rebate on their instant rebate on their purchases. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, that'll affect people anyway. Yeah, I still have the Hermes Lite, the tiny little radio, but I'm not sure if you'll go down that road. Over.
Yeah, I looked at them. I actually actually looked at the Elecraft. I looked at the Hermes. I looked at the Apaches. I looked at several different rigs. I talked to a friend of mine that's got an Elecraft, and he's also got a 7760 ICOM. But what's the name of the other one? I actually, it's a another Chinese radio, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, there's so many around anyway. But in my ears, my limited ears, the way you sound now, that's just super. Over.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and and that's in the back of my mind too. So I don't, they say if the wheel turns, you don't mess with it. So, but I don't know. It's been since 1995 since I bought a new rig. So, it's kind of biting at me a little bit to get one with the displays and everything. So, I'm kind of looking and got in the back of my head. I'll keep you updated as to what happens there. But yeah, I made several contacts back to Florida for a second when I was down there. I took just an old ICOM rig down with me and the ham sticks. I don't think we ever made contact one time down there, did we?
Negative, no. But I did listen around. We just didn't meet up. Well, okay, Mike. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to my bed because I've got the early shift, and you know all about that. So what I'll do, I've just made a recording, and I'll send it to you, and you'll hear how great you sound in Belgium. Over.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I go to bed every night and try to get my beauty rest, but it doesn't work. What do you think?
Yeah, Roger. Well, join the club on that one, but no problem. We can handle. The key, Mike, is don't look in the mirror. Over.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I got you. Well, have a good night's rest, John. Good to hear you. Glad you jumped in there.
Yeah, likewise. Really delighted that I heard you, and you're a cracker of a signal. Till the next time, Mike, take care, and we'll keep in touch. Whiskey 8 Hotel Bravo, Oscar November 8 Echo India. Bye-bye from Belgium, Mike. Over.
5:39 here right now. 5:35, I think it is. So I think I'm going to go up and grab a bite to eat. So I'll catch you a little later. Have a good night. O-N-A-D-I, W8HB. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Mike. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.